First example. Drag and drop from the Object List Controls, Parameter Controls, a fader control into your worksheet and place it next to the master panel. Click with the right mouse button on the fader to open the context menu and select Modify Properties. The Fader class dialog opens. Change the style from Absolute Control to Relative Control, the maximum value from 0 to 6. Press Enter. The minimum value from -80 to -30. Press Enter. And the bitmap from a gray fader to a red fader. Click on the Modify Functions Connections button. The Modify Functions and Connections dialog opens. In the folder structure on the left side of the dialog, you can find all devices in the project with all their functions. For example, a function level in each channel A and B folder. You can use the filter and enter level there in order to reduce the number of functions. After you selected a function on the left side, IrisNet will display possible connections on the right side and highlight the connection to the channel in which you selected the function. If you select device of same class, then also amplifier channels of all other amplifiers of the same type in the project are displayed as possible connections. In projects with amplifiers, controllers, and matrices, the option All devices with selected keyword would display all amplifier, controller, matrix channels which somehow make sense as connection. We want to program a master fader, so we can select directly here all amplifier channels. Drag and drop of the connections you made on the fader will assign the function and the connections. Drag and drop of the function alone will assign only the function. This makes sense in case you want to assign a group as connection via Administrate Connections. If you prefer to use the group All Channels instead, then delete all connections. Only drag and drop the function level. Close the fader class dialog. And with Administrate Connections, assign the group All Channels as connection. Second example. Drag and drop from the Object List Controls, Button Controls, a Switch Button control into your worksheet and place the Switch button next to the master panel. Click with the right mouse button on the Switch button to open the context menu and select Modify Properties. The Switch Button class dialog opens. There you can find all properties of the Switch button. Change the caption to Mute and press Enter. Click on the Modify Functions Connections button. The Modify Functions and Connections dialog opens. Use the filter and enter Mute in order to reduce the number of selectable functions. Select the function Mute in one of the channel folders. Set the option Devices of Same Class. After that, you can directly select all amplifier channels. Drag and drop of the connections you made on the Switch button will assign the function and the connections. Drag and drop of the function alone will assign only the function. This makes sense in case you want to assign a group as connection via Administrate Connections. There are some useful options for the Switch button. First, you can enter an alternative caption for the pressed state by entering it behind the existing caption separated by a comma. Enter as caption Mute, Muted. Now, the Switch button shows mute when unpressed and muted when pressed. Second, you can enter a confirm text when pressing and/or a confirm text when releasing. For testing, enter Really Mute Whole System and try to switch on the mute button. A dialog opens and you are asked, Really mute whole system? Choose either Yes to activate mute or No to leave it as is. Don't forget to save your project file.